Hey guys, welcome to the video of Recognize Your Fallen Angel. Here's DeltaFellsB.com, and today we are going to be talking about sexual interest and how they change when you overconsume porn. So this isn't something religious, and I named it Recognize Your Fallen Angel because I think it's a great metaphor. Basically, fallen angels were angels that rebelled against God and they were thrown out of heaven. So here we're going to be talking about your sub-personalities that may rebel against your morals or against things that you believe are right and wrong, and it is all going to be linked to porn and sexual interests. So firstly, let me start by saying that as we all know, it was the harmless vanilla porn that initially drove us into watching porn, right? Some started young, some started old. It doesn't matter, but it was most probably the vanilla porn that initially drove you into watching porn. But there might come a realization that you might realize that it is the standard porn that you used to watch throughout all of these years is no longer doing its job, and then you might even gone through dozen and dozen of new genres, of confusing genres in just one session. So, just like millions of others, you may have noticed yourself arriving at places that go against your morals, or you might find them disturbing or even confusing, or places that you might find disturbing or confusing. So, it's basically a standard progression of porn use over a certain period of time, because nothing is ever static, and especially with porn, you will initially, or you will eventually progress into more and more extreme stuff. And it just, well, I hate to say it's standard, but it's a standard progression of porn use in almost everyone. So here I gave a quick study that I'd like to mention, and it is a study from 2016 that has shown that half of their subjects using porn escalated to material they previously found not interesting or disgusting. So again, it is kind of standard procedure, or I guess progression, that happens over a certain period of time. Um, and I believe, and even though I hate to call it normal, when using porn, such escalation to things that are disgusting or that were previously not interesting or even confusing is, well, I guess standard. But now let's take a step back and actually look at the science itself. So I'd like to start off with the fact that we are always training our brains with or without our conscious participation. Speaking from evolutionary biology, we're either going forward or backward. So if you stay in a bed all day and just watch some, I guess, cat videos or something, you're training your brain to be more likely to do that next time, and to strengthen the pathways of enjoying, of taking a pleasure from watching cat videos. On the other hand, if you go and work out every day, it is going to strengthen those pathways, and your discipline and basically everything will be better, because you'll be a stronger person both mentally and physically. So again, initially, watching porn or watching more extreme stuff might be subject of seeking something exciting, right? Because dopamine rises when you're doing something forbidden or novel. So what that means is that you might feel the hit from going through something that you've never seen before, or that you consider forbidden, right? Or or something that you, I guess, waited whole life, or couldn't speak to anyone because you would consider it embarrassing. And now you have porn site where there's every single genre that you can basically think of. So, forbidden, novel, or uncommon content is capable of producing higher levels of sexual excitement. So again, if you search and search and search, you might find that the things that are uncommon, um, that are maybe even confusing, are still capable of producing higher levels of sexual interest, or of sexual excitement, even after the vanilla porn is not doing it for you just yet. So the more uncommon something is, the more arousing you might find it. And it's the anxiety that you feel that pumps up the sexual arousal itself. So we'll get into the science of it in just a moment, but the anxiety is also the reason why people that overconsume too much porn get urges when feeling anxious. It is because they have a certain pathways, which we'll take mention in just a second. But basically, just to get back for a second to the anxiety itself, anxiety pumps up dopamine or adrenaline, better to say, and that confuses your body with sexual arousal. So if you find if you feel the certain anxiety when watching porn, then your body is probably confused because it thinks that the anxiety it feels is in reality sexual anxiety that is normal to feel, right? So yeah, so as I said before, your body thinks that the anxiety you're feeling is a sign of upcoming mating. And there's the anxiety equals porn pathways. So your brain is prepared um, to mate when you feel anxiety. And again, it's the confusion that your body feels related to this light. So with anxiety comes also the adrenaline rush, and as I mentioned this before, body's reaction to adrenaline, which can be quickening pulse, dilating pupils, clammy skin, can be mistaken for higher sexual attraction. So let's put it in simple terms, and what I mean by all of this is that your body may mistaken the anxiety from watching something forbidden or something, let's say, uncommon for increased sexual attraction and arousal. And you may start to see just how wicked this all is and just how damaging it is. And also, secondly, the increased anxiety when watching something novel, uncommon, or forbidden is capable of maintaining higher levels of sexual excitement, which which is the content that is uncommon, novel, or forbidden is also um, is also capable of maintaining these higher levels when the standard porn that you used to watch or the genres that you used to watch are no longer doing the job for you. But there's another reason why people escalate continuously to more extremes. So these were just a few reasons, but there's another one, and that is desensitization. So overconsumption leads to desensitization and increases the need for higher doses via novelty, forbidden content, kink fetishes, etc. So you may be asking what is overconsumption and what is the desensitization, or better to say, what does it mean exactly? Just how much is overconsuming, right? So basically, any higher doses of dopamine stimulate both delta FSB and molecular creep. And creep is supposed to keep the things balanced, so it is actually there to stop you from binging on whatever you're binging on and take the joy out of it, right? Whether that be porn or eating, its primary function is to persuade you to give it a rest, right? And you might try to overcome, you might attempt to overcome the tolerance by, I don't know, genres, kink, whatever, right? But the worst thing is that it also leads to lack of motivation or energy. Things that are were previously fun, you might no longer find satisfying, right? The desensitization itself, right? The numbed D2 dopamine receptors, they also start to affect your life outside of porn, right? And this can unfortunately lead as far as developing social anxiety disorder or depression. So now you should probably see just how much damaging this really is. And so let's take a step back and let's imagine that one day you suddenly realize that vanilla porn is not doing its job for you anymore, and you suddenly need things that are more arousing, right? And after some time, you might think that the things that you escalated to are solid evidence of your sexual identity. So, I'm gonna have to repeat this just to make it clear. Let's just say that one day you realize that the standard porn, right, the vanilla one, is not doing its job for you and you don't find it really sexual arousing. And then you look at the things that make you sexual arousing, and you might start to be confused on whether the things that you're watching, like if they are your true sexual identity, right? If they are the things that really fulfill you and makes you sexually aroused. But here's the upside, and no, they're not. The things that you watch are not the solid evidence, exactly because of the desensitization and also because of the things that we talked about just a minute ago. So you might think that you just cannot watch normal porn because you're not normal, because you like more extreme stuff. So again, you might start to feel confused on whether the things that make you sexually aroused are your real true self. If you remember what we talked about just a few moments ago, obviously things that are novel and somewhat forbidden bring more sexual arousal and excitement. So here I have a study from 2016, and the study from 2016 found that it's common for men to view porn inconsistent with their stated sexual identity. So again, I hate to say it, but it's normal and it's the standard progression. You see that also other men or even women might view something that is inconsistent with what they really feel in their heart, let's say. And now we've come to the point of this video. So the things that you watch and the sexual identity that you think you might have, it's not your true self, right? It's not your true sexual identity. It's your hidden fallen angel, right? And he's rebelling against you, and he wants to feel more and more sexual excitement, right? And so you discover your fallen angel. So the fallen angel might be getting stronger and stronger, and he might rebel with you more. He might be taking you to places that you really find confusing or disturbing. And he wants you to get more and more extreme stuff to maintain increasingly higher levels of sexual excitement. And remember, all of this is metaphorically speaking. We've talked about the science itself just a minutes ago. So now we've come to the black pill part, and what's worse is that many people promote porn as a way to discover your sexuality, which is completely pointless and I'd say damaging even. And the people that promote this are completely ignoring the phenomenon of escalating to more extreme stuff, whether that be desensitization or the sexual excitement that you feel when you watch something novel or uncommon or forbidden even. So now you have to realize that what arouses you isn't the metric to find your sexual identity, right? Your true sexual identity is in your heart, and sexual interests are changeable and you can change them now. So again, the things that you might be watching, the confusing stuff that you might be watching, maybe you're not there, right? But the confusing stuff that you watch, it just might not be you, right? It just might be your fallen angel. It just might be the science behind it. So if you're doubting yourself and your sexual interests, try giving up porn to reverse the porn-induced stasis. So basically, all you can do here is to give up porn because, look, the vanilla porn won't get you off, right? So there's no point in trying to watch only the stuff because sooner or later you'll bounce back into the extreme stuff, into the confusing stuff, and trying to lie to yourself won't help neither. So all you can basically do is give up porn to reverse this porn-induced tastes. So this is it for the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it and I hope that you find it useful. This was deltaphosb.com, and if you want to know more about what we do at deltaphosb.com, there's going to be a link below, or you can also text me on info.deltaphosb.com, and maybe we can have a little chat about your situation, what are your struggles, and what do you want to accomplish. So I once again hope that you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time.